let's talk about the intermediate challenge. First question, multiply. We have two callback functions, which these are a type of higher order function. So we wanted to multiply the result of invoking them, right? So Alex, you skip this one. So can you please come over and solve it?
Cheers.
So we are working here with higher order functions, and this will be a function that accepts as arguments two other functions, this one and this one, and we will call them fn A and fn B. But if we take a look at the third one, it says if we don't have one of the functions, then just return the result of it, of the function that we have as the argument. So we will return check if the second function exists. B. Then return the multiplied result of the functions. So here we're calling the function, and here we're calling the other function. Else return only the result of the first function. Let's see if it works. It works.
Any question, Alex?
Well, I have a question about Tom's solution.
Yep.
Is he said if function b is not equal to undefined,
Okay.
then do things.
Okay, let's review Tom's solution in a second. But first of all, thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
So, is there an improvement on this snippet? It's 99% perfect. There is something missing. Yes, great. Semicolon, Alex. Cheers. So, let's see what our friend Tom did this time. So, Tom. It's pretty much the same thing, ignoring the indentation is not correct, right, Tom? So here, this should be indented to the right as well as this one. But that's pretty much the same thing. So Tom said, is function those is not undefined. So this is a bit necessary. So you can remove, like Alex did. So you can get rid of that, and that will be the same thing, right? Because if function 2 exists, it will be evaluated as truthy. So you don't necessarily have to compare against undefined.
Yeah, so what I tried to do what Alex had done first, but I think the mistake I was making was after function 2 I had like brackets, so I was trying to invoke it, and that wasn't working for some reason.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So what Tom tried to do, he tried to do something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, of course. This won't work. Look. Why?
I thought if you try to invoke a function that doesn't exist, that would be faulty.
No, that's over-optimistic. So if a function doesn't exist, if a variable doesn't exist, you are trying to invoke a function of undefined, which is... No. We need to be a bit more conservative in that respect. First of all, see if we have the variable, if so, invoke it, if not, ignore it, right?
That's saying that it's just checking whether it exists or not.
Yeah. There is a different way to do it, and to me that's not necessarily better, but just out of curiosity. So, do you know if there is a way to solve the problem? And actually, I think that's a good question. So imagine that I don't want to change that line. I want to do that. I want to keep that line as it is, but I want to make this exercise work. Is there anything we can change anywhere else? Correct. So what Eugene is suggesting is to do that. This is very sexy, right? So what that means? So in JavaScript, we can initiate with modern JavaScript, and this is quite recent, we can initialize variables. So that means, hey, I'm expecting function B, but if because of whatever reason function B is not passed, is not offered, then initialize it to this, to whatever comes after the equal sign, right? So what we do here, if I don't have function B, then create a fake function that returns 1. Because of that, right, we'll be multiplying whatever function A returns, 12, we multiply 12 and 1 and returns 12. Correct, because the name of the function is multiply. Right? So we know that we want to return what? Well, but then we'll have a separate name. It will be function add. So how we solve that, Alex? Something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. To what? No. 0, Alex. Because we want to add 2 values, right? Something plus 0 equals something. Cool. Awesome. Any question? No? Okay, let's move to the next one. Question number 2. Replace. So that was a bit tricky, but I'm going to call Marta to stage. So here we have a string, and we want to, we have the first argument a string, and we want to replace the second argument with the third one. In that particular case, welcome to Codiri will become welcome to Codeflix. And we are currently asked to use regex. So Marta, can you explain us how to solve it?
So first we have to create the regex constructor, which I learned yesterday. Inside we're going to have so we are creating constructor regex constructor from and in this case we don't need to add case insensitive or global. And it says we have to use replace, so we're going to return sentence dot replace, and we want to replace from to something.
Easy, right? So what Marta did here, she construct a new regex object, and then here what she's specifying is what token will she search, right? So she's looking, in the first example, for the Codiri token, right? And then, so she takes the sentence, welcome to Codiri, and then says, okay, find this token from, find this word, and then replace it, taking the regex as a reference, replace it with that one. Right? Any question? Cool, thank you, Marta. Off topic, if you, once you start working in any company, don't search that word in Google Images. Right, question number question number 3. Sorry about that. Remove number props.
Start with.
Say again?
No, I was asking Tom because he's
Ah.
clearly searched.
Question number 3. Remove number props. So, Jin, we have an object, correct, with several keys and values. So we want to find which values are numbers, and then we want to get rid of these props, right? Say it again?
I don't know how to solve it.
That's good. That's why you're here, right? Cool. So she doesn't know how to solve it. Can anyone give some advice? How to proceed?
So first of all, I have to define my argument, which is object. Can I just do object? I don't know. Huh? Or maybe person, yeah. Okay. So I don't know. I need to look at the values, I guess, of the object.
Right, so let's be careful. We have an object,
Yeah.
and we want to return another object.
Yeah.
So
Do we?
we could use reduce,
Okay.
right? So can you do, for example, first of all, I want to access all the keys. I want to iterate.
Yeah.
So how do you get the keys of the object?
So I'll put so object.
Okay.
So I need to assign it to something. So I'll do let keys object keys person.
Correct. So now we got the keys, right?
Yeah.
So the first example, the keys will be named and then it will be ball. Right?
Yeah.
Correct. So now let's use reduce. So let's try to iterate over the array of keys. So can you do keys dot reduce?
Yeah. Keys reduce
Okay. What are the arguments of reduce?
one key. Oh no, sorry. So it's gonna be accumulator
Correct.
and value
I could call it value.
or key.
Key. Correct. Right. So we have an array of keys. So let's look at each individual key. Correct. Let's create a structure. So yeah. Can you open and close curly brackets just to prepare it a bit? Then,
Yes,
yeah,
and
exactly.
then
And what's the
here.
default value? We want to return, what type of data do we want to return? An
Object.
object. So what will be the, exactly, that will be the default value, right? So then,
Mm-hmm.
okay, before we forget, can you, because you know that I like the way I like to approach this kind of problems. I don't know what I have to do, well, I guess I know,
Yeah.
but I'm going to follow the chronological order. Before I forget, you know that you have to return the accumulator, right?
Yeah.
That's the last thing you do when you're using reduce. So can you just, inside of the reduce, can you return the accumulator with the proper indentation, please?
Here.
Yes, correct. Because it will be passed to the next iteration. And before that, on the empty line, literally there, so we want, if something happens,
Mm-hmm.
then we'll do something. So can you create an empty if statement, please?
If statement.
If. Correct. Nothing? Yeah, correct. Exactly. So now,
Mm-hmm.
the question is, what's the condition? The condition is on the first iteration, what's the value of the key? The first example. No, wrong.
Name.
Name. correct. The first iteration, the key is name. So we want to check if the value for that key is a number. If Marlon Brando is a number or not.
Okay.
So because you got the key
Mm-hmm.
and you got the person, how do you access the value? How do you access Marlon Brando?
So key
Dynamic properties.
like this.
Uh,
No.
wrong.
I don't need key. I need value
So
of the
what
key.
is the object? What is the object? It?
Person.
Person. So then you try person.
Person key.
Exactly. Well, person.key. What person.key will return?
Name.
It will return undefined. We don't have any property for key. We want to access
Oh,
a
yeah.
dynamic property
That's right. Yeah.
using curly brackets, right?
Square bracket.
Key.
And then we want to check
Mm-hmm.
if that. So what's the value of person key? Marlon Brando, correct. We want to see if
Okay.
Marlon Brando is a number. How do you check if a variable is a number or not?
So I'll do is number. Is not an.
There are at least 3 ways to do it.
Okay. So I'll use this. It's not a number. So it's a number. Can I do this? No, maybe
It's
not.
not a number, it's a function. So
Ah,
whatever you pass as the argument of the function will be checked if it's a number or not.
can I do this then? Number? I don't know. Yeah.
Right. So if it's not a number,
So if it's a number, we need no.
well, no, because we want to keep on the accumulator
Okay.
non-numeric values. So if it's not a number, we want to add to the accumulator key and the value, right? So the accumulator is an object. So how do we add a new key value to that object?
Something called add, isn't it?
Okay, go for it.
Sorry, what?
Just add person open bracket key. Yeah. Literally type add. ADD.
Really? AD, yeah? I don't know. And then what person? No idea.
I don't know. Again, you have an object, ACC. If you have a user, how do you add the first name to the user? Correct. Yeah, so you can use
Like this?
that. There is an easy way, right? If you are using a square bracket notation here with the person,
Yeah.
why can't you use a square bracket notation with the accumulator? Why don't you keep it consistent? Right? You got the accumulator, which is an object, then you do the accumulator square bracket key.
Yeah.
Just check in. That is equal to what?
Person key?
We want to assign it to Marlon Brando. How do we access Marlon Brando here on the right hand side of the expression? You did it in one line above,
Person key?
of course.
Yeah. Okay.
That's it. So that means that for each iteration of the first one, Marlon Brando is not a number, so then our accumulator will have a new key called name, and the value will be Marlon Brando. On the second iteration, the key will be Paul. But however, this condition won't be met, right? Because number, 1924 is a number. Because of that, this won't be executed, so it will eventually return an object with a single property, which is the result of the first iteration, right? So will this work, yes or no, and why? Red, 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 green, red, blah, blah, blah. Correct.
Huh?
Red, red, red. This algorithm returns literally nothing.
I need to return this.
Yeah, of course. Right? Will this work? Yes or no, or why? It should work. So let's see if Eugene is right. Yes. Any question?
I really don't like the dynamic syntax.
Okay. Yeah, I don't like to wake up early in the morning, right? Sometimes we need to do things, right? Cool. Thank you, Ian. Cheers. Before going any further, the only thing I'm going to do is I would like to show a different way to check if something is a number or not. This is perfectly valid. This is the classic way to do it. Something we could do something a bit different. We could say, I think someone suggested it, different alternative instead of using type of, correct, Victor is right. So we can do type of that, what else? Like that. Will this work? Yes? Green, green, green. Is not equal, correct. Correct. And that works. There is a new way to do it with modern JavaScript, which is probably my favorite one. At least in this particular case, we know that the numbers are integers. So if we can assume that, we can do, if we have number has a new method called isInteger. Obviously, we have to negate it, right? Because we want to see if it's not an integer. It still works. Cool. Any question? No? Cool. Thank you, guys. So let's very quickly review what you did here.
Everyone deleted it.
Sorry?
Everyone deleted the damn prop.
Yeah, I know, right? Right. Yeah, I mean, that's so Gray. This is also valid, of course. He found a different way to loop on the list of keys, right? So he's doing for prop in person. So this is the same as doing object.keys, right? It's an alternative. But I think he's doing the same, you see? So, well, not the same actually. So it says if it's a number, then delete it. I think the main problem on Gray's solution, even though it's correct, is he's mutating the original data. So he takes this object and then he's removing data from the original object. However, with our original proposal, we are just creating a new object, right? It's a subtle detail. Well, it's not subtle in the long term, but for now, yeah, it's not a big deal. What else? So Osman, he did the same thing, but he created a new object. So look, Osman and Gray's solutions are pretty similar, but the reason why I prefer Osman's one is because even though the strategy is the same, Osman, instead of overwriting, changing the original object, he's creating a new one. So this is like a safer strategy, right? Because then person, if we want to do something else afterwards, the person object is still available. In Gray's example, person object is not the same after this loop, right? Because he's deleted some properties in it. Victor, why are you struggling to indent things at this stage of the journey, right? So look at the if, right? That should be clearly indented to the right. Apart from that, Victor is using a classic for loop. He loves classic for loops. There is something wrong here. It works, but there is something incorrect. That means that if I change the data model, this will fail. This is not solid enough. Can anyone spot where the problem is in vector solution? Say again? Correct. So Victor struggled yesterday. So he spent like 2 hours with recursion because of the same problem. So the problem is here. When you do a for loop, if I equals to 0, that's wrong. Because if the array has 3 elements, for example, we'll start index 0, then index 1, then index 2, but once I equals to 3, we are beyond the boundaries because the last index of the array is 2. So if you are doing these kind of things, you should do I is less than person.length, not less or equal, right? Right, Loving Eugene solution. And finally, Tom. That's radically unacceptable, right? Right. So, as I mentioned yesterday to some of you, one of the functionalities in the roadmap for the Codere platform is once you've completed a training, you should be able to see others' solution, not just yours, but others. Right? In that particular aspect, you'll be able to rank. You'll be able to vote, upvote or downvote solutions, right? Even here. So here at some point you'll have an like icon. So if you like a solution, you could do it, right? You could vote for that, right? So then we'll show the best and the worst solutions of the month, these kind of things. Right? So yes, cool. Don't do that, Tom. So then we go to question number 3, I think. Is it 3? Is it 4? Exactly. So question number 4, which everyone solved. So let's quickly review it. So we get average score. We got a player name and then several scores. So we wanted to get the average, right? So let's see what you've done. So Marta, so she's using the rest operator to gather all the scores. Then she's getting the average. So she's calculating the total, and then she's dividing by the number of results. So Marta, here you got a penalty, probably, because of the length of the line, right? So then she's rounding the results, and then just she's displaying it. Cool, not against that, that's fine, that's fine. And Alex, so I like, yeah, so what I like about Alex's proposal is she created a new function. So to me, this is more readable, right? Remember, the functions, the smaller, the better. The simpler, the better. So Alex created a new function. Yes, if I want to complain about something, because I like to complain a lot, to me, the average score is a bit weird as a function name, right? I agree that this function name, and this is not your fault, this is wrong. From a semantics point of view, this function shouldn't be called getAverageScore because the function is not giving you the average. It's giving you a message with some information, right? So that function should be renamed to getAverageScore message or something like that to prove that this function is not returning a number, it's returning a string, right? But apart from that, yes, I like Alex's solution. So who's next? Gray. Gray, this is same as Gin, pretty much, right? So he calculates the total first, then the average. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Gin. So Gin, the same thing, pretty much. She calculates the total, right? Using reduce. She's using a shorter version, right? Still readable, so that's fine. Total, and then average, and then the same thing, right? Easy. And then Osman, same as Alex. I like that because he created a function. And you see, what I like about Osman is semantics are even better because instead of calling the new function the average score, he called it get average. So it's clearly telling that he's going to return an average, right? Cool. Yep. By the way, I found something smelly on Osman's solution. It's working, but can anyone see where the potential problem is? It's green because of our current data model, but if I change the data just a bit, Osman's solution will fail. Why? Exactly. Can you explain that, Marta? That's correct. That's correct. You see, Osman, we shouldn't use mat.floor because if your average score is 67.9, you'll be returning 67 instead of 68. The reason why it works is because in this particular example, you got lucky enough because all the rounding happened to the lower integer, right? So for example, on the first case, maybe the average was 66.1. That's why mat.floor was doing the same as mat.round. You got it, Osman? Cool. Tom did the same thing. Yes, I'll go there in a minute. So Victor is doing something unnecessary here. So look at the scores array. Ignoring that A should be capitalized, because it's a separate word. So he's first of all gathering all the arguments, then he's spreading them, and then he's gathering them again. Right? You can see that this is absolutely unnecessary. So actually, you can get rid of this line, and if you remove a scores array with the scores, it will work because scores is an array of scores. Look. For example, compare with Eugene. Look, you see, he gets the arrays of scores, and that's it, because he's gathering. Instead of having a comma-separated list of arguments, we have an array with all these arguments, right? And then, classic Victor. This time he did it right? Because he's doing less than equals and then -1. So that's technically speaking correct. You can simplify this a bit by removing the equals, so then you can get rid of that as well. But apart from that, that's correct, right? So I'll suggest Victor to stop using classic for loops. The sooner the better. Even though they are correct, you have to type more, so chances to fail are higher, right? So it's better to use reduced like pretty much everyone else used, right? So then the same thing, calculating the total and then the average, classic, and Tom is calculating the total, so Tom is using a classic function instead of an arrow one, right? I find particularly interesting what Yin did, because look, so Tom needed 3 lines to do the same as Yin, you see? Simple. We just want the total, right? We can make it simple. Obviously, adding the spaces between the operators, but apart from that, Yin's solution, I think, is very elegant. So then, how many? So Tom created a variable to calculate the length of the scores array. I mean, I'll do it inline, like everyone else has done. I don't see the point of creating a variable just for that, but hey, that's still fine. And Tom did the same error as Osman, right? Math.floor. And also Eugene did the same, math.floor. So Eugene, Tom, and Osman, your examples work just out of coincidence. However, Jean, Gray, and Victor, these solutions were more robust. Remember, if we want to round the number, then use math.round. If we want to get the closer integer below, math.floor. And if we want to get the closer integer above, correct, math.cell. Right, last question, number 5. Eugene, could you please come over? So we got let's review it here. Question number 5. So get unique celebrity props. So we have 2 objects, object number 1 and object number 2, and we want to find which properties of the first object are not listed on the second object. That's exactly what we want to do.
Okay, so I'm starting by giving the
objects a name. We can call them celeb1, celeb2. Great. From here, I'm actually not sure what to do. Other than maybe iterate through object 1 via its keys.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
That's a good idea. Why don't you do it?
okay, so celeb1, maybe reduce.
Yeah, cool.
Cool. Through the keys, so I think it's celeb1, and then object dot keys.
Well, it's a bit controversial already. Wait a minute. This is not going to go.
Oh wait, oh yeah, what am I doing? Oh, what's this? It's just accumulator. Okay, this should be in the body.
Correct.
This should be in the body. And then let's call this prop. And then sorry, it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
You can prepare what was the initial value of the accumulator?
An
Why is
object.
it an empty object?
Oh, flip, it's an array.
Correct. We want to return an array, right? So let's prepare it over. Right, and then as I said before, first of all, remember to return the accumulator. Then you won't forget about it.
Yep. Okay. So we return the accumulator.
Yep.
So we're iterating through
Yep.
celeb1,
Yep.
and we're checking for a prop that exists within. No, we're looking for a prop that does not exist
Correct.
in celeb2.
Correct.
So we can write that out. If for this is difficult. Oh god.
So we want to see if the prop is in the second celebrity or not. How do you see if a property? How do you know if a property exists in an object?
You literally. Oh, key. So prop. The prop. So we're checking for celeb one dot. I think prop. No, because it's meant to be dynamic. I think so.
Yeah.
Square off. Prop. It does not exist. I don't know how to do does not exist.
Yeah.
But something does not equal in celeb 2. And I think that is the main thought process. Oh, but we need to check for their prop as well. So celeb 2 prop. This is great.
Okay, then what do we do in that particular case?
Okay, so celeb 1 prop does not equal celeb 2 prop. So we're saying that the celeb 1 prop does not exist. No, does not equal celeb 2 prop. So that means it's unique. So this
Correct.
means it's unique, and then return it. Oh no, add it to the accumulator. So acc dot push
Yeah.
celeb 1 prop.
Okay, and then what?
Else we pretty much ignore. So yeah, the other case it would be that celeb 1 prop would equal celeb 2 prop. But I think this is only meant to be one direction.
Yeah.
If we scroll down on the rules, yeah, it's meant to be one directional. And then if all the props are reported, just return an empty array. So maybe that. So
you have reviews, exactly. You have to return the accumulator, so it will be passed to the next iteration, right?
Yep.
Okay, so will this work? Yes or no? Why?
no.
Oh. Okay, that's the first thing. Will this work after the return statement? Yes or no, and why?
Actually, have no idea.
I'll say no.
Why? Yes.
Well, the only thing I can see is does it need 2 equals?
Ooh.
Well,
Yeah.
that would be fine. 2 equals is more strict, but that won't affect the result. So that's a good point. Yes. Looking for now, yes or no?
I don't know.
I don't know, let's just find out.
No, it doesn't work, obviously. Type error. Select one not reduced is not a function. Why select one reduced is not a function? Correct. Select one array suggesting is not an array. It's an object. So you want to reduce the keys of the array.
Oh yeah. Okay. So
Get the properties, get the keys, and then check if the keys are in there. So iterate through the keys instead of.
okay. Object keys. That, I guess.
Cool. Will it work now? Yes or no? Why?
Oh, shit.
Because it's doing celeb one for he's got an array of just keys, so it needs to check if just the keys are in. So
So can you tell me what the first example will return now?
yeah.
What?
Just run it.
Just try it.
No,
Just
don't
try
try.
it.
Okay, we need to know.
Right.
Oh, okay. So we're interested in.
You're making it super complicated, right?
Um,
What do you want to push, the key or the value?
Sorry, the key.
The key. Why didn't you just push the key? The prop. We just want to extract the key, right? We don't care about the value.
Sorry, I'm confused. Really?
Right, don't try it, please. Will it work now, yes or no?
So it's each individual iteration of the object keys of celeb one. So it goes.
Still checking. In your if statement, your condition is still checking the values, not the products of the keys.
Okay, so we need to.
Again,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No, wait a minute.
Oh, of props. Of props.
So at the moment, at the moment I don't know what you're doing, but before typing the keys,
Yeah.
he was checking if the value of the first name property is different to the value of the first name property in the other object. So that will return an array of first name and last name. Can you try it, please? Correct. We don't want the first name. The first name is returned, but we don't want it. Why is there? Because as Greg was suggesting, that if statement is wrong. We shouldn't compare if Peter is different to Robert, because of course it will be different. We want just to check if the first name property is available on the second object.
Okay.
How do
So
you check? So we don't care about celebrity 1 anymore in the if statement. We just want to see if celebrity 2 of first name exists or not. How do we do it?
can we just compare the prop?
Can you just get rid of everything apart from select 2, blah, 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 blah?
Ah.
So here we said A. Well, we'll have to negate it, right? Because here we said we have, correct. So now we say, if we don't have,
So if the current prop,
if we don't have, so well, select choose this object, right? Prop is first name. So do we have select choose dot first name? Yes or no? Yes. So don't do that. On the next iteration, prop is last name. Do we have select choose last name?
no.
If we don't have it, then save the prop.
Okay.
Save the last name. So will this work? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, try it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness. Stress. Let me think.
Questions? No? Okay, thank you, Julian.
Okay, cool.
So it's good. We took 41 minutes to complete it. So this is getting better. And then let's see what everyone did. So Marta, so it didn't work for Marta, and the reason is, yeah, that's probably still work in progress, I believe. So Gray, so he got the keys of the of the second object, and then he has an array of missing props. So then he's iterating on the keys of the second object. Sorry, reference. Sorry, I missed that. No, sorry. So he gets the keys of the first object, and then he iterates on the key of the first object. And if these properties are not in the second object, then he's pushing them. So that's pretty much the same thing, right? Without using reduce, using for let prop off, which gives you all the keys. Nested loop for Jean, and then Osman. I think Osman did a very similar thing. So keys of the first object, then he iterates. So then he says, hey, if I don't have the key on the value on the second object, then push the key to the array. So Osman, is that any necessary? Can we do it? Can we do any different thing?
Just negate it.
Correct. We can just negate that. If I don't have that, then add it, right? That's the same thing. Cool. Oops, I clicked somewhere. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So then we got Victor. Sorry, that's wrong. So Victor, he gets the keys on the second object, and then he's iterating on the second object, and then he's checking if the first object has that key. Oh, that's a bit complicated, right? So the reason why I don't really like Victor's solution is because, again, he's mutating object one. So that means that here, if we still want to do anything with the original object one, that won't be possible because we are changing the original object. Let's try not to do that, right? Let's try not to do that. We'll learn about pure and impure functions in JavaScript. Right? So a pure function is a function that receives a list of arguments and it doesn't change them. You can find, you can filter, you can analyze whatever you want, but let's try to respect the original data model, right? And then we got Tom. So Tom he gets the keys of the, that's interesting. That's very interesting because it's different to anyone else. So he gets the keys of the first object, he gets the keys of the second object. So then he's filtering. So he's doing please, from the first object, tell me the keys that are not on the second one. I like that. I think it's a different approach. It's very elegant. Cool. Ignoring indentation, Tom. This is wrong, right? So this should go to the right. Cool. And yep, and this is us. So that's pretty much it, guys. Is there any question? Nope. Okay. Thank you for your help and support. Cheers.